The U.S. military has launched extensive strikes against dozens of Islamic State targets across Syria. According to President Donald Trump, the move was ordered in retaliation for a deadly attack on U.S. soldiers inside Syria earlier this month.
President Trump has told reporters that he delayed U.S. military strikes against Islamic State militants in Nigeria until yesterday because he wanted them to be what he called a Christmas present. The attacks were reportedly carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government, which has been battling a long-running jihadist insurgency. The U.S. struck targets in the northwestern region of Sokoto. The White House said it was in response to the targeted killing of Christians in the region. That is disputed by the Nigerian government.
The Nigerian government has long been fighting various jihadist groups in the north of the country, including Boko Haram and Islamic State splinter cells. There have been growing calls in US right-wing circles for intervention in what some have called a genocide against Christians. But the Nigerian government has been keen to point out that the victims of attacks have been from all backgrounds.
Stay with us. What you have just seen are not isolated strikes. They are connected operations, tied by intelligence, timing, and intent. Explosions in Palmyra, Syria. Explosions in Sokoto, Nigeria. 2 locations, 1 network, and a widening counterterrorism response that is still unfolding. US military officials confirmed these strikes were not spontaneous. They were planned, sequenced, and approved at the highest level. In Syria, targets were selected after weeks of intelligence tracking following the December 13th ambush near Palmyra, where 2 US soldiers and a civilian interpreter were killed. In Nigeria, the strikes came after civilians flagged Islamic State-linked positions in Sokoto, operating far beyond routine Nigerian military reach.
Washington says this was retaliation. Security analysts say it was also containment. Because what the United States is confronting is not scattered cells, but movement, financing, recruitment, and territorial control stretching across borders. And while airstrikes dominate the headlines, on the ground, a different threat is taking shape. US Central Command confirms that Operation Hawkeye Strike targeted more than 35 Islamic State positions across Syria, using over 90 precision munitions deployed by F-15E strike fighters, A-10 ground attack aircraft, AC-130 gunships, MQ-9 drones, and Jordanian F-16 aircraft. This followed the December 13th ambush near Palmyra. 2 American soldiers killed. 1 civilian interpreter killed.
But multiple sources confirmed terrorist hideouts and vehicles were destroyed. Now pause here. If this reporting matters, support the channel and share this investigation. It helps keep this work visible. Because what happens next is where the story turns. While airstrikes hit terrorist enclaves from the sky, army groups on the ground are quietly consolidating power. In Kano and Katsina states, bandits are no longer just raiding, they are governing. Multiple community accounts confirm a 50,000 naira levy per farmer, enforced before harvest. Sugarcane farmers first, maize farmers next. These groups issue rules, they collect taxes, they punish defiance. Farmers who refuse face crop destruction, abductions, or forced displacement. Some have abandoned their land entirely. There is no official response yet from Kano or Katsina state governments. And this is where Washington is watching closely. President Donald Trump, speaking to the New York Times, says further US strikes in Nigeria are possible if attacks continue. He frames the issue as protection of Christians. The Nigerian government disputes that framing, saying both Muslims and Christians are victims and that terrorism, not religion, is the target. What is not disputed is this. Nigeria's security forces are stretched. Multiple fronts: insurgency, banditry, kidnappings, rural collapse. Critics say casualty figures are manipulated,
Others say official numbers are delayed, diluted, or selectively presented. The result is paralysis. And into that vacuum, non-state actors step in. US surveillance flights have resumed. Intelligence sharing has intensified. Strike thresholds, analysts say, depend on verified attack patterns, target validation, and host nation consent. What might happen next is not theoretical. What might have already happened remains partially classified. The question now is not whether the conflict expands, but where, when, and who pays the price on the ground. This story is developing, and it is not over.